Okay, so today we have the youngest in the S23 series, the all-new S23. And if you had seen Samsung's launch event, all the focus was on the S23 Ultra. But personally, I believe the standout phone of the S23 lineup is the S23, because the S22 from last year had a lot of areas that needed improvement. Like S22 had three main concerns. Number one, the phone ran hot. Number two, battery didn't last a full day. Number three, display was not as bright as the Plus and Ultra variant. So the question that has to be asked is S23 the best compact Android smartphone? Well, we shall find that out together. Let's go. Now in the box you get the phone, some paperwork, a premium SIM ejector tool, a Type-C to Type-C cable. But now, of course, the visual changes that you can see is the back of the device. It now looks more closer to S23 Ultra. The colorful camera island from last year on S22 is no more. RIP. And this year you have this new cream color. The metal frame and metallic camera rings are golden. You also get some new colors, phantom black, green and lavender. I'm personally a fan of the size of the S23. It's the most compact, powerful flagship you can get on Android. Like, it weighs only 168, 169 gram. Nice number. But these are just looks. The main point is, number one, performance. The S23 comes with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is the latest flagship processor. The base variant starts at 8GB RAM, 128GB storage. But very interesting thing, the 128GB variant is UFS 3.1 storage, whereas 256GB variant is UFS 4.0. And however, I checked the Samsung site, so in pre-booking offer, as of now, you get double the storage. In simple words, you get 256GB storage at the price of 128GB. And last year, Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 was hot. It was hot on most phones and it was hotter on S22. But this Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is 4nm made by TSMC and it runs really cool. Like, this is CPU throttling app which runs your CPU at 100% for 15 minutes, which is a heavy task. And this was last year's graph on S22, but this year on S23, it's all green. And in Antutu, it scores 11,44,000, which is about 20% higher than the last year. Now, not only Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is cool, but another reason is this year S23 has about 2.7x bigger vapor cooling chamber. Last year there was nothing. But how's gaming? How is Apex Legends? So we'll play at max graphics, 60 FPS. Let's go. So we played for about 10-15 minutes. The gameplay was nice. It got a bit warm over here, but for this phone, it's pretty good. Also, the S23 series has a custom-made Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, so you get a slightly faster, highly clocked CPU, faster GPU and faster NPU. So in simple words, these tasks like Google Lens reading text from an image, these AI tasks will run slightly faster. Now, the biggest thing about S22 was battery life. Like, even with medium usage, you had to charge the phone by the end of the day. But with S23, you get a 3900 mAh battery, 200 mAh more from the last time. But with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, the battery life lasts better. I used this phone the entire day on 5G with Google Maps direction on, camera, everything. I ended the day at 15% battery life. It is almost 5 hours of screen on time. And people slightly misunderstand screen on time. You can even get 7 hours of screen on time, but the usage matter. Like, if you're reading Google Chrome articles, your phone can last 10 hours as well. Now again, this is early impressions. Like, the phone takes about 1 to 2 weeks to learn your usage patterns, and hopefully battery life should further improve. Now last year, S22 had the same display as the bigger phones, but the brightness was less. This year, you get a 6.1-inch 120Hz Full HD Plus dynamic 2x AMOLED display. And this year you get an upgraded display, so it can go 1750 nits of brightness, which is the same as the S23 Plus and S23 Ultra variant. Also, you have adaptive vision booster. In simple words, the display intelligently reduces the blacks so the display feels brighter. Now, the official Samsung site says the display can go from 48Hz to 120Hz. But in my testing, it goes to 24Hz as well. So I'm assuming that the display goes 10 to 120Hz. Also, you get Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which can now survive fall on concrete roads. Guess who will test that? Now, camera is the same as last year. You get a 50 megapixel main camera with OIS, the same 12 megapixel ultra wide and same 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. And I would say at this price range, this is the best photo camera I have ever used. Samsung's camera processing and HDR is really good. Like, have a look at this shot. Now this year there are 3 top important software features in camera. Number 1, portrait video. Now you can do portrait video in 4K 30 FPS, and have a look at this video that we took of Manu. Like, pause just right here, zoom in onto his hair, and the edge detection is so good. And even this portrait video that we were doing, it can easily detect two people in a single frame and blur out the one in the background. Number 2, HDR10 plus videos. Now this year you can do HDR10 plus videos on the front as well as the rear camera. Now with HDR on and off, you can see the difference side by side. Number 3, Astrophotography. Now this year you get the new Expert RAW app, which is exclusive for the S23 series, and there are a lot of changes. Now you can take 50 megapixel raw photos and you can edit them directly in Lightroom. So you have to download the Expert RAW app and Lightroom separately. But here's my favorite feature. You can now put the phone on a tripod and you can take astrophotography photos. And we tried some star photos and the results come out really good. Rest, you get One UI 5.1 based on Android 13. You get some new features like you can remove any person from a photo and use it as a sticker, or just remove the background instantly. And Samsung is promising 4 years of Android updates and 5 years of security updates, which you would know is the best in Android as of now. Rest, you get 25-watt fast charging, which gets 50% in 30 minutes. It's fine on this compact phone. You also have IP68 water resistance, so ekdam mast water. You get all the other flagship features like wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, Samsung Pay, etc. Same fast ultrasonic in-display fingerprint scanner. So finally, should you consider the S23? Well, compared to S22 from the last year, the S23 base variant is launched only at 2000 additional price.
Currently, Samsung S22 is selling for 56,999 on Samsung's own website.
So if you're thinking to buy that, I would recommend considering the S23. The overall camera, battery life and performance is better, and we'll be definitely comparing it with the iPhone because why not? On that note, this is Pradeep signing off. See you in the next video. Pew, pew, pew.